up to image and resize and pick image size. When you pick image size, you can see all of these. You're going to want to make a poster is 16 inches by 20 inches. The width is 16 and the height is 20. That's kind of a standard poster size. You can see here there's a lock. Let's undo that lock and not constrain the proportions. And we'll see if now we can make it so that it's the different size. There we go. The other thing we want to do is we want to change the resolution. This resolution will make it very, very pixelated. And so I would like to do a resolution of about 600. And I want to make sure that resample image is on so that my image gets more we're going to create a photo that's a poster of an important issue that's a global issue. That's something that we could be involved in to make a change in our world. First, you're going to go somewhere like Google and get a picture. I've already done one on child labor and electronic wastes. Both of these are important issues, but when they're put together, there's something that to me is a very important issue that we should address because we are often responsible for this. Now, I've tried to copy and paste this, but when I try to copy the image and go to Photoshop and try to paste it, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it does work. If you have any trouble with that, I'm going to show you what to do if you can't get your image to paste. You're going to use something called the snipping tool. And you're going to go down to the Start menu. You can't see that because it's on my the bar at the bottom there. So I'm going to type snip. And as I type SNIP, the snipping tool comes up. It's in a blue line, and you can go ahead and just click New and select the area that you wish to copy and make a copy. We're not doing anything to violate copyrights because we are working with this just for training purposes. I'm pushing Control plus plus so we can zoom in on this. You can push Control minus as well. And when you go up to the image, I want you to go and if you've already pasted it, just go ahead and resize image size. This will come up and you want to change your resolution to about 300 pixels an inch. And I'm going to say OK. You're also going to change your image to that poster size. So you want to do your canvas size 2 inches and you want it to be 16 wide by 20 high. You're going to see my picture get really, really small here. I'm going to do a Control minus. You can see how tiny it is. I'm just going to go back to my snipping tool and I'm going to make another copy. I'm going to go in here, hit the escape key, and then push Control V. It doesn't fix the picture completely, but it does do a better quality picture. So then you have a picture of your image and you have it stretched to fit on the canvas or on the canvas there in Photoshop. So that's the first step. And then we'll work with this to turn it into a poster by doing various things that you'll need to watch the videos for, as well as watch this video. And we'll work then with different things to make this into an entire poster on the next video. Next, you're going to want to find 2 images that you're going to blend with your image. One that would be an image of a situation that's even worse than your image, but related. So in my case, a technology dump would be a related image that was worse. I'm going to go onto Google then and just find some pictures that I could include with my picture to make it look even worse. I want to make this image as big as possible, and then I'm going to copy this image and put it in my Photoshop on a new layer. So I've added a new layer, or it might just add it for me, and I'm going to do a paste. Edit, paste. I could also use the Control plus the V. I hold down the Control key plus I use the V key and paste. And actually, that's a very, very, very small picture. So I'm going to turn this other one off, and I'll see then this is my active layer. That's where I've pasted it in. We'll see if we can get something that's decent or if it's going to be very pixelated. If you find that you get an image that is too pixelated for your use, you can get a new one, but you don't get the quality until you push the confirm, the little green check mark, so you're not sure. Don't give up until you've pushed that. Make your choice. So now I've got this layer. I'm going to turn this first one back on again, and we're going to see, oops, I have to confirm. You can see then these two now. This one is behind this one, but I would rather have it in front, so I'm going to move it up. And now I want to do some things to erase some of this so that it looks natural, and then do some blending between the two images. But down here, I'm also going to put something that makes a person think like, what would happen if we didn't do this? Where would this person, young person, be, and how would it be? So this poster could have a positive image at the bottom, so I'm going to go and get one of those. So I've copied and pasted another picture here, and I have 1, 2, 3 pictures now, and I'm going to work a little bit more with this one to make it look natural here. I'm going to do a little bit of work, and then we're going to get some filtering done. Some of the tools that you can use are an eraser. If you are on a particular layer, you can just erase things. I'm erasing with the magic eraser an entire area instead of just what I'm working on or what I touch. So I'm going to zoom in there and you'll see how everything that I touch erases. So it erases a large amount of similar coloring. This makes my erasing job a little bit less difficult in a minute as I work through making this more natural looking scene between my two pictures. So eventually you're going to have multiple pictures here that you're working on, but you can see it's only working with this layer. You can even see the parts that I've erased here. I'm going back now to the magic eraser. I'm going to go to the regular eraser. I'm going to change my brush size so it's a little bit bigger and even bigger yet. And I'm going to erase some of these areas. You can keep modifying your brush size until you like it. I've gone back over this and gone with and worked both with the magic eraser and with the regular eraser tool to make it look more natural. You can also change your opacity once you have something that kind of looks, like it might fit with the background a little bit there. Then you can change the opacity of your tool. Opacity is how much you can see through something. So now I'm not completely erasing, but starting to blend these layers together. Once again, I'm using Control plus plus and Control minus to just work on this a little bit. Another way that you can blend pictures together is with blending modes. I'm going to pause a minute while I work on this. Now I've got it in pretty good shape. I'm going to do Control minus minus on the picture to zoom out. You can see, at least on that top part, the child looks like now it's almost sitting in that dump. I would like to make these more naturally that color, so I'm going to work on that in a minute, but I'm going to go down here and work on these little kids that are happy, which is what we would rather have for this child. And we're going to do some things down here to make this picture expand across here and yet look like it's almost right in front of the other one. I decided to go to the internet and I got a picture of a street that would look natural behind my kids, and I pasted it here. Now I'm going to drag it down. Your layers can be rearranged so that it's behind my kids that are dancing. Additionally, I'm also going to take this, it's a clone stamp tool, and how you use it is that you click with your ALT, your Alt button, where you want to clone from. So I'm going to hold on the Alt button, click the mouse, let go of the Alt button, and come over here and you can see the second, there are two cursors. Now I'm wondering, why isn't it working? I can tell you why it's not working. I've got a different layer on than I thought I did. So here, also I could turn on this, sample all layers. I'll show you that one. I'm going to work on this layer, but I've turned on sample all layers, and the only thing at the bottom here is the two pictures. These are in the upper part, on the upper part, and just a little bit there. So I should just get samplings from these two layers. Let's see what happens. Once again, I'm going to click down the Alt key, click my mouse, let go of the Alt key, and now I'm going to start painting a little bit here. I can see I was over by the red. I'm going to try it again. So click the Alt key and then go over where I want, then hold my mouse down. Do it again and again and again. Got to give an effect that I like. Now I can also hold the Alt key down here, click, and go up here. A lot of times your color's not exactly the same, but it does give it a nice look to it. In this case, it's not so far off. I'm going to try my magic eraser and fiddle around with a few things here to see if I can get. Ooh, I don't like how that worked. So I'm going to fiddle with some things, see what I can find between my magic eraser and my clone stamp tool here. And we'll see what happens. Now in this case, you can see I also have an extra picture here that I don't want. So I'm going to click on that and delete the layer. And yes, I want to delete it. I'm going to work with this and then you'll see what I've done in a little bit. I've decided I'm going to use this select tool here, the lasso. There's a magnetic lasso tool that you can use right here to go around something by just clicking and clicking. This will allow me to select my edge rather than have the magic wand select my edge because it was missing things. Now, if I click pretty regularly, I'm going to get a much better edge here. It's going to try and find the edge, but whenever it's having a difficulty, I simply back up and then just use regular clickings. Right now, I'm not clicking my mouse very much because I don't need to. It just made a circle, so this is going to take me a little bit of zooming in and zooming out. I'll show you the results when I'm done. I'm going to hit a delete key and you'll see. Once I've selected the parts that I want to get rid of, I double click at the end to bring those parts together and I can hit the delete key. That's one way to select a large amount using the magnetic lasso tool. So also, if you have something like that happen where it just gets crazy on you, just hit the escape key. I want to do a few more things to make it look natural. There's a blur tool and also a shape tool. Now I've got a really sharp colored edge here between the two pictures. I'm going to turn that into a place where I'm going to write something. So I'm going to make a rectangle. It is on rectangle here. And I'm going to grab the color. Actually, these have a really nice red or blue, but I'll just grab something. Then I'm going to draw on, you'll see I'm actually on this, I was on this layer, but it's made its own layer. So I now have a nice colored layer. And I can actually merge these two layers together. That merges all of them, which isn't what you want to do. You just want to do what's called merge down. And I see that right now merge down isn't available, so I'll try it again later, see if I can merge it later. Anyway, so now I have a band here that I can use to write some words in. I want to do some other things with these little kids, and that is to make them not look so sharp around the edges. I'm going to zoom in here to show you what I mean. Their edge doesn't look natural, and so if I were to print this, it would look very bad. There's a tool called a blur tool here, and you can adjust the strength. I'm on the wrong layer. I want it to be on this layer. It asks me to simplify a layer, which you can simplify your layer if you want, but if you're on the wrong layer, it'll also give you that error. So in this case, I didn't want to do that. You can right click, and if you need to, you can find simplify a layer. So that would have worked with this layer. I could choose to simplify the layer. Same with this one. But right now I want to go back to my little kids and I want to use my blur tool. Show you this. I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you can see the difference in the edge. See how it becomes not so distinct. It's a great tool for making the edge look more natural. You can change the strength of the tool. You can also change the size so that it's faster and go around the edges. When I zoom out, you'll see it's more natural looking than those other areas. So you can use your erase tool and your blur tool. You may want to pick a picture that doesn't have as many parts as mine. You go through and clean up things too. And then we'll put the words on in the end. And right now, I'm going to pause it so I can clean up mine with a blur tool. I decided to go up to my image, my layers, I'm sorry, and to see if I could flatten these two layers. I just am unable to do so, so I'm going to delete this layer because it just simply, oh, there's a merge visible. Good, I have only two layers on and that was intentional, and now I can merge them. I want to do something else, and that is add another layer and do a second color behind this to make it more distinct. And I'm going to select and go like this. Now it looks like it's going to be over the top, but I'm going to actually flip these two layers around take my move tool and center that on top of there. Now I'll turn all my layers back on again, and you'll see what that blur tool's done and how our picture looks now. You can see that this layer isn't as visible as I would like, so I've got something else. I'm going to move it up so it's over the top of that layer. Let's go ahead and zoom out here and see if now I have an image that I could write on. I've merged a picture here and I've merged a picture here using the tools on the side, and now we're going to do some wording. I'm going to stop this video and pick up on the final video with that. To sum up what we've done so far, we've taken 4 pictures and used the magnetic lasso tool to select things and delete them that I didn't want. Used the eraser and the magic eraser to also delete areas that weren't wanted. We used the blur tool to take rough edges and make them look more natural. And we've used the move tool to take pieces and move them around. And finally, we've used the shape tool here, the rectangle tool in this case, but it's a shape tool because you can change to different things. I've used the rectangle and selected the color from the default color swatches, although you're more than welcome to use any other ones that you wish, and made 2 rectangles. You could use squares or whatever to kind of join these 2 different pictures, one of this child's life and one of these children's lives. And now we're going to write a little bit of information on the picture about my area that I feel is important, that I wanted to highlight in my personal project. You can choose a global issue of your own. Now I'm going to take the text tool. There are other ways to do this, but I'm going to take the text tool and I'm going to select a text. I could have downloaded some of my own text. I'm going to select this text. I'm going to do Control++ and zoom in. And I'm going to write some information here about child labor, and the negatives and about the positives. You can put them where you would like on your picture. We're just going to familiarize ourselves with these tools this time. Once you have your words on and you've put your boxes how you like them, note some things like here. You've got a lot of different things that you can do with layers to make it look great. So go ahead and play around with your layers if you end up with something on top of something else that you don't want to be there. When you feel that you are done, you need to have, for the requirements, you'll need to have these 4 pictures that you put together. You need to have words that explain the problem that currently exists. You need to have a solution. The last thing I'll need to add is a web source and my date for this data. So I'm going to add that right now. You'll also have to have used the tools that we discussed, and I'll have a list of that following this video. When you're finished with your assignment, then it might look something like this. In addition to this, you're going to turn in a paper that tells me which tools you used and any difficulties you had, etc. I'll give you an example of that paper too. And that's it for this week. Turn it in by Sunday night at midnight. Every week is due. Sunday night before midnight.